Stage 11 of the Vuelta a España, and it just started as a disaster for Nairo Quintana. In the space of 24 hours, 2 crashes, this one resulting in his abandonment of the race. A suspected broken collarbone, a sore shoulder to boot, Quintana is on his way home. Steve Morabito from BMC Racing was also in the fall, and he has abandoned the race. Breakaway group of 5 at one point ended up being just 1, with Vasil Kirienka going off the front. At one point he had an advantage of some 4 minutes, but it was the Katusha team trying to close things in to put Rodriguez in with a chance to try and win the stage and get a time bonus away from Contador. And at the first intermediate sprint, Alejandro Valverde showed his intentions by winning the first intermediate sprint, getting a 3-second time bonus, but Contador, the ever attentive, finished second. So Valverde closed the gap by just 1 second. The first hour of racing was extremely fast with an average speed of 50 kilometres per hour. And as the riders from the breakaway started to get brought back into the fold, the peloton were making their way towards the final climb of the stage, to the top of the San Miguel. Kirienka survived until the bottom, but not for too much longer. It was then Katusha setting the tempo, as Chris Froome, early in the climb, looked to be under some serious pressure, and was even dangling at the back as his teammate, Dario Cataldo, was setting the tempo at the front. So too was Philip Dagnan, the Irishman. Arredondo, the Colombian from Trek Factory Racing, tried early on the climb, but he simply didn't have the legs, as the big favourites were waiting until it got to the steeper part with pinches of some 14%. While the group was still 20 strong, Froome was getting dropped whilst Cataldo was setting the tempo at the front. Froome clearly was just riding his own individual time trial up the climb. Attack came from Warren Barguil, the Frenchman. The reaction came from Robert Gesink, the Dutchman. And Robert Gesink at one point built up an advantage of 20 seconds. But the main contenders didn't let him get too far away. Was Gorka Izagirre from Movistar setting the tempo for Valverde, whose confidence was continuing to grow as he's now the outright leader of the Movistar squad. Gianpaolo Caruso continued the chasing for Katusha. Rodriguez and Valverde having then to mark the attacks of Alberto Contador. As for Chris Froome, despite having been dropped early, he continued to fight his way back. When Robert Gesink was caught with 1.5 kilometres to go, it was Fabio Aru who was the next to attack. The third place finisher from this year's Giro d'Italia, it was Fabio Aru who found the finish line first. He took the stage win. The second victory in his career, both of them mountaintop finishes in Grand Tours. It was then the sprint for second place. Valverde got that ahead of Rodriguez, so another time bonus for Alejandro Valverde. Contador still leads. His advantage now is 20 seconds ahead of Valverde. It's Rigoberto Urán who's third.